hits to win.
All right, Lagos, welcome back. This is still Overt Radio Breakfast Show. We are broadcasting to you live from the city of Lagos. Lagos is a center of excellence, the city that never sleeps. When you hear that phrase, just know that is your favorite voice on radio, Ken, saying that here in the studio. Yes, I want to thank our listeners for being able to spend their breakfast to stay with us here on Overt Radio. So if you are the type that work at home, if you work from home, you are a remote worker, thank you for listening to us. If you are a grandpa or a grandma listening to us, crossing your legs while reading the newspaper, we want to thank you. Or if you are that bus driver driving, conveying passengers from one bus stop to the other in Lagos or anywhere that you are listening to us, that you are streaming us from, we want to say a very big thank you for listening to us here on Overt Radio. Yes, it is the political update here on Overt Radio, and I have some political activities, event that that has been making rounds in the media yesterday, this morning, and it is the Osun State governorship election coming up August 15, next week Saturday, this Saturday, on the 15th of August 2026. All right, so what I'll be talking about this morning briefly is still in the Osun State governorship election, and it is one individual that I will be talking about this morning, Dele Momodu. Dele Momodu is the publisher of Ovation International, the renowned Ovation magazine, Ovation International. So ahead of the August 15 governorship election in Osun State, Dele Momodu has thrown his weight behind Governor Ademola Adeleke of the Accord Party ahead of the 2026 August 15, 2026 governorship election. And Dele Momodu is saying that he is supporting Adeleke. Remember, Dele Momodu is a chieftain, is a member of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, and he's throwing his weight behind Ademola Adeleke, who is a member of the Accord Party. Now, party aside, I want to believe that these two individuals have been friends even before they came into the political limelight, and so friends will still be friends irrespective of the political affiliations. So Dele Momodu is saying that he is supporting Ademola Adeleke of the Accord Party in the August 15 governorship election. Let me read the story, although he shared a post on his X handle this morning, but let me take that story from the from the Punch newspaper, I guess, if I'm correct. A chieftain of the African Democratic Congress, Dele Momodu, says he is backing Governor Ademola Adeleke of the Accord Party in Osun State for a second term, despite being a member of a rival opposition party. Momodu disclosed this in a statement on Tuesday, insisting that opposition parties must set aside individual interest and align behind Adeleke ahead of the August 15 governorship election in the state. The former presidential aspirant said he remained a proud member of the ADC. He explained that he joined the party on the basis that prominent opposition figures decided to form a broad coalition against what he described as APC cankerworm. I joined ADC on the basis that prominent members of opposition parties in Nigeria decided to form a broad coalition of forces against the APC cankerworm that has almost destroyed our economy, social cohesion, religious tolerance, and democratic institutions, and separation of powers. The statement read. Momodu said he had prayed against a clash of egos among opposition figures. He added that he had hoped the coalition would not need to start afresh, since the ADC had earlier paraded the second, third, and fourth placed candidate in the 2023 presidential election. Now, before I continue with the story, Mamadou said that, these politicians, Mamadou said that he joined the ADC on the basis that prominent members of opposition parties in Nigeria decided to form a broad coalition of forces against the APC cankerworm that has almost destroyed our economy, that has almost destroyed social cohesion, that has almost destroyed religious tolerance, that has almost destroyed democratic institutions, that has almost destroyed separation of power. Now, what is coalition? Okay, what is coalition? You said that you joined the ADC on the basis that prominent members, this is his word, that prominent members of opposition parties in Nigeria decided to form a broad coalition of forces against the APC. So, where is the coalition? Where is the coalition in Nigeria? The opposition parties are still in their respective political figures. Prominent members that you called are still in their respective political parties. So when the idea of coalition came initially last year, I think late last year, when the idea of coalition came, we all thought that Labour Party will collapse into one party, PDP will collapse into one party, ADC, which championed the coalition itself, will collapse into one party, NDC will collapse into one party and form a single party that will wrest power from the ruling All Progressive Congress in the 2027 general elections. So, where is the coalition when those people in the disguise of coalition are still in their respective party? There is nothing like coalition as we speak at the moment, because if you say that you are coaliting or coming together to form a force, to form a force against the APC cankerworm, that is the quote, that is from him, from Dele Momodu, to form a force for against the APC cankerworm. So where is the coalition, for God's sake? Peter Obi, who is also part of the quote and unquote coalition, is the presidential candidate of the NDC, the Nigerian Democratic Congress. Atiku Abubakar, who has been contesting presidential elections since his vice presidential tenure ended in 2007. Atiku Abubakar is in the ADC. He is a presidential candidate on the platform of the African Democratic Congress. He is still part of the coalition. Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, who left the New Nigeria People's Party, the NNPP, the leader of the Kwankwasia movement in the northern states, particularly in Kano, who has also identified himself as part of the prominent Nigerians that will form a coalition against the APC cankerworm, is the running mate to Peter Obi on the platform of the NDC. Rotimi Amechi, a former Minister of Transportation during the administration of late Muhammadu Buhari, may so rest in peace, and a former governor of Rivers State, who identified himself as part of the prominent Nigerians to form a coalition against the APC, is the running mate to Atiku Abubakar. So, Sir Dele Momodu, with due respect, sir, a very senior colleague in the profession. So, where is the coalition that you people are claiming? Where is the coalition? There is nothing like coalition. The forces that you claimed to have come together to wrest power, where is it? When those people who use coalition to deceive Nigerians, because yes, to deceive Nigerians that they are forming a coalition, to oust Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you've all scattered. A coalition can only work when individuals come together to form a party, a movement. You can't form a coalition when you are still in your respective political parties. One of the coalition that was formed was in 2012 when Tinubu single-handedly joined forces from the ACN. He brought in some members. He joined some people from the ABGA. He put some members from the UNPP. If I can remember, that's the former political party of Muhammadu Buhari. About 3 to 4 political parties that merged to give birth to the All Progressive Congress. That is what coalition is all about. That is what coalition is all about. So all this grammar that the likes of Dele Momodu, respected gentleman, the likes of Atiku Abubakar, the likes of Peter Obi, the likes of Rabi Musa Kwankwaso, the likes of Rotimi Amechi and other figures in the opposition parties. You say that you are forming a coalition and yet there is no coalition party. You are all scattered in your various political parties. So where is the coalition? Okay, if at the end of the day, after the 2027 general elections, and maybe NDC wins the presidential election, or ADC wins the presidential election, or any other of these prominent Nigerians in other political party wins the presidential election, will you call Peter Obi that didn't win in the NDC, or Atiku that didn't win in the ADC, or any other political party that didn't win, will you call them to form a government? So where is the coalition? Coalition can be strong when those people who claim to be in coalition as a forces against the APC, it can only work if the likes of Obi, the likes of Rotimi Amechi, the likes of Atiku Abubakar, the likes of Rabi Musa Kwankwaso, the likes of the embattled former governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, who still has a case with the federal government. If these 5 individuals and other key prominent political figures, even the economist, what's his name, Pat Utomi, who has been championing the 3rd force or the 4th force or the 2nd force, I don't know the force they are forming. If this individual can come together to form a political party, that is what a coalition is all about. But the coalition cannot be effective if you claim that you are forming a coalition, if you claim that you are coming together to vote out the APC in the 2027 general election. If you are still in your various political party, you are still scattered. So how will you be able to vote out President Bola Ahmed Tinubu if you are still in your individual political parties? A broom can only be a broom when the various sticks is being binded together to form a broom. That is the logo. As incidentally, I'm sorry to mention that is the logo of the APC, because it's a combination of various groups, various political parties coming together to form a coalition. The All Progressives Congress, all of the progressive. There is a mixture of ABGA in the APC. There is a mixture of Action Congress in the APC. There is a mixture of the other political parties in the APC. That's what makes the All Progressive Congress. That is a coalition. because they saw a need that after 16 years of PDP rule, man, they were tired. Guys, we are tired of this PDP administration. Let us come together and form a coalition. In 2012, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, with other key figures with other key political figures in Nigeria, came together to form, to form a coalition, a political party, which is the APC, and they successfully vote out PDP after 16 years of PDP's administration. The thing is that our leaders, they don't learn from how other people have been able to achieve their aims and objectives. They don't learn from how the likes of Bola Ahmed Tinubu was able to form a merger with the UNPP or the NDP as at that time, with the ABGA, with the Action Congress of Nigeria, which was the ACN then, and other, T parties in the country. They came together and formed a coalition, which gave birth to the APC. That is what coalition is all about. But when you say that you have formed a coalition, and the coalition, we have a coalition in the ADC, we have a coalition in the NDC, there is a coalition in Labour Party, there is coalition in the other party. Where is the coalition? Where is the unity? Where is the togetherness? Where is the force that wants to vote out the All Progressive Congress? Like I used to say, that I'm not a member of any political party. I am not a supporter of any political candidates. I am saying things the way they are. I am saying things based on my understanding, based on how things have been playing out over the months, over the years. If you really want to have a coalition, then collapse all these political parties, the ADC, the NDC, the Labour Party, and other political party, or the NNPP. Bring them, collapse them into one party. Because if you will succeed, that was the master stroke of Tinubu in 2012. Because if those who are in the coalition, if they were able to successfully bring the leaders in this party that I've mentioned, in the NDC, in the ADC, in a Accord Party, in the SDP, the Social Democratic Party, in the NNPP, the New Nigerian Party, because in all these parties I've mentioned, most of them are in the NDC, some of them are in the ADC, some of them are in Labour Party, some of them are also in their parent party. So if individuals from these political parties that are in the opposition, if they come together and put aside their selfish interest, if they come together, put aside their selfish interest first, to form a coalition, a party, one party, then they will give President Bola Ahmed Tinubu a run for his money in 2027. But hey, the one that goes to NDC says, I have the blueprint, of I have the blueprint of making Nigeria to flow with milk and honey. The one in the ADC says, I have what it takes to revolutionize the country, to privatize moribund industries, companies in the country. The one in Labour Party says that it is me, I have what it takes. If you keep on saying that you are the one that has the wisdom, the knowledge to transform this country, you might not be able to achieve that in you will not even achieve it in 2023. In 2027. I'm not it is based on what is on ground. I am not a prophet to tell you that. I don't want to say it, all right? But we'll all be here in 2027, God willing. I I don't mean to annoy any. If you are listening to us and you're a supporter of any of this opposition party, but common sense supposed to tell us that those people who are claiming that they are forming a coalition and they are still scattered in their respective political parties, how will this coalition work? Because that was the idea they sold to us. That was the thinking that many Nigerians had, that Obi, Atiku, Amechi, Kwankwaso, and and the likes of other political parties, and even those in the PDP, the Sheyi Makinde, I don't even know the party that he's contesting on. Is it the Allied People's Movement or the APC? These were people that formed the G5 then. When just were people that formed the G5. It was Nyesom Wike that championed the G5. Assuming the likes of Nyesom Wike is in this coalition of a thing, do you think that the likes of Tinubu, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, will have this venom to boast that he'll be re-elected in 2027? No. It is because of our selfish interest. That is why this country is still retrogressing. It is because our political leaders, they feel that they have all the knowledge to transform this country. No. And that was what Bola Ahmed Tinubu did. After forming the APC, he gave Muhammadu Buhari the opportunity. That's why it's called the Jagaban. He gave Muhammadu Buhari the opportunity to rule for 8 years. And when Buhari has been able to champion the hearts of the North, because most of the votes in this country, they are coming from the North. How many votes in the 2023 elections, in the 2023 presidential election, how many votes come from the South? How many votes came from the South? So Tinubu gave Buhari 8 years, killed his ambition, because we all knew that this man has the interest of being the president, has the ambition of being the president. But after forming the APC, Tinubu, killed his ambition and gave Buhari the opportunity. Then, so that is why he has the right to say, Emiloko, it is my turn. He has the right because he has paid the price. He has paid the price. How many of these people who are in the coalition can boldly tell themselves or tell other parties that Emiloko? How many of them? What is a sacrifice of Peter Obi, who has been jumping from one political party to the other? From ABGA, he went to the PDP. From PDP, he jumped to the Labour Party. From the Labour Party, he jumped to the African Democratic Congress. From the African Democratic Congress, he jumped to the Nigerian Democratic Congress. So where is the sacrifice that Obi has laid in all these parties that he has been? Atiku Abubakar, where is the sacrifice that he has made while he was in the APC? He was formerly a PDP member, a staunch member of the PDP. After he discovered that the PDP will not give him what he's looking for, he jumped to the APC as at that time. He left the APC, came back to the PDP and contested for the 2023 presidential election. He lost to Tinubu. When he saw that the crisis in the PDP is larger than him, like they used to call it, he Ben Johnson. The street language there. He left the PDP and joined the ADC. So, as I've always tell people on this platform and anywhere, if you want to be the leader of a country, you must sacrifice. Where is the sacrifice of Peter Obi? Where is the sacrifice of Atiku Abubakar? Where is the sacrifice of Rotimi Amechi? Where is the sacrifice of Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso as political men, as party men in their respective party? It is not how long you've been in a party that says that you are that qualifies you to be that to say that yes, I've given my all. It is not how long. It is the impact you've made in a while in that party. If Wike stands up today to say that I want to be the presidential candidate of the PDP, he will make it. Why? Because he has invested heavily in that party. He has invested heavily in that party. So it is very simple. Politics is not something that you read in school, despite the fact that there is political science as a course in the university or in the higher institution. But politics in reality is not what you read in school. It is what people do. It is what these politicians do. So if you really want, I've digressed from the topic I wanted to say, but if you really want to be a leader of Nigeria, I won't say that. If you want to be the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, if you want to be the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, you must appeal to the conscience of all the ethnic groups, religious groups, geopolitical zones in the country. You must appeal to their conscience. And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been able successfully to appeal to the conscience of these people in the country. I don't want to say what I want to say next because it would be as if I'm biased, and this is not a radio station that is biased. So to respected veteran journalist Dele Momodu, the so-called coalition that you said that prominent members of opposition parties in Nigeria decided to form a coalition of forces against the APC, the coalition is dead. It is dead because these people that you mentioned, if they come together to form a single party that houses them, that accommodates them, why do we have 34 governors that are in the APC today, or 34, but yeah, is it 34 or 33? Why do we have more over 30 governors that are in the APC? It is not because of the one or two things they are getting from. It is because Tinubu has an aura. Tinubu has an aura that attract people to him. You may criticize him, you may insult him, but this man, yes, is not a leader, but this man is a political strategist. He's a political strategist. He has an aura. So that is why you see a staunch PDP governor seeing his counterparts who are in the PDP decamping to the APC. Am I the only one? Let me join them. So the coalition will never be effective if those people who are clamoring coalition are in their respective political parties. Coalition can be effective if they come together and form a single party. That is what makes a coalition. All right, Lagos, that is how far I can go this morning here on Overt Radio.